What happened when a friendly face asked an innocent question?
A sobering realization for Sesame Street character Elmo.
He asked, how is everybody doing on X, formerly Twitter?
A trauma dump from about 500,000 of them. They're fatigued, depressed, broke, isolated, grief-stricken, laid off, and dealing with disrespect.
Quite honestly, sharing they aren't doing very well. One person responded, quote, I'm at my lowest, thanks for asking. Others talked about losing their jobs or struggling to make ends meet. The post has since received more than 12,000 replies.
The world imploded. I'm Kate, I'm a therapist, and we need to talk about Elmo's tweet because this guy wrecked us. If you didn't catch this week, Elmo sent out a tweet to check on all of his friends. And while many of us responded that we're not doing well, I found it more surprising that we all had the urge to respond to a puppet. The media and the news articles kind of wanted to put this off as an incident of trauma dumping, but I thought it was a little bit more indicative to a greater issue, the mental health crisis. But you want to know what's weird? This is not the first time this has happened. Remember Steve? What about Mr. Rogers? Or even Bingo? Each time we were visited by one of these characters, it felt like we were getting this overwhelming feeling that we were visited by a ghost of our childhood. It brought us back to a place where we were once oblivious and could escape from life's struggles. As an adult, we don't really get to escape anymore. Life piles up and we seem to get bogged down. So no wonder when our childhood revisits us, we jump at the chance to safely confide that adulthood did not turn out the way we expected. So in the past few years alone, we've seen nearly a triple increase in the amount of people experiencing both depressive and anxious symptoms, leading us to believe this is a really big problem. And yes, we are seeing more diagnoses because, well, the stigma for mental health has gone down, which is great. Also, we're not living in the best economic world. Life can be extremely challenging right now. But let's say you do get to therapy. This Times article says that you could wait up to maybe 20 sessions before even noticing any change. Let's say you do 1 session a week, that could be up to 5 months. I don't know if this needs to be said, but Elmo caught us at a really bad time. I started practicing in 2018. I started noticing some things then. The first was people were a lot more complex than I expected. It wasn't as cut and dry as simply having depression or anxiety. And 2, everyone was kind of getting surface level treatment. People were getting band-aids put on things like internal bleeding. As I studied more, I started finding the real solutions. It was trauma work. It was inner child work. It was finding the root of the issue instead of just treating the symptoms. And that's why this guy is so important. Every generation has one, an ideal playmate, somebody that we loved and cared for and that was kind and was there for us. And these characters tend to show up in childhood, but childhood can be the place where trauma starts to collect. And even if you didn't have trauma start collecting there, he's kind of been there for you through it all, even when you didn't need him. So if you're anything like me, you haven't thought about Elmo in years. So why did his tweet make us feel like we were gonna crawl back under the covers for a few extra hours? Well, it's because Elmo is a secure attachment figure for us, meaning he feels safe and secure. He's not going to betray us or make fun of us or misunderstand us. And in today's world, we're desperately in need of some safety and security because politics have become more of a moral issue, the environment is still crumbling beneath our feet, and we can't even afford housing, let alone therapy. Hence, Elmo showed up at just the right time. So, to be honest, I'm kind of glad we all responded to Elmo. I know it was a mostly negative response that we had, but hear me out here. The fact that we all responded is a good thing. It means that we haven't given up and we still care enough to share both the good and the bad. So take it with a grain of salt. We trauma dumped on Elmo. Elmo can take it. And speaking of that, We could all take a lesson from Elmo here in being a better friend. We could do a little bit better job providing a safe place for our friends and loved ones to land, to be kinder to them, to validate them more, to just let them be however they are, show up however they are. And I mean, we still love them, we still care about them, even if they're angry, cranky, sad, it doesn't really matter. We still like them. So maybe stating that more. Now, do we have the capacity to do that like Elmo? No. We are human. He is an infinite, glorious puppet that has immense amount of compassion, except for Rocco. No, we can't be like Elmo in that sense. We all have a capacity, we all have a limit, and I think we need to talk about that as well. We can't hold everyone's trauma. We can't hold our own trauma sometimes. And I think communicating that in a way that's kind is really key here. So what I mean by communicating capacity is on a good day, maybe this sounds like, hey, I know you were having a bad day. I just want to let you know that I really care about you and I want you to feel better. If you need anything from me today, like I have the space and time to do it, okay? Clear and kind. So we can't all have good days. So what happens if it's a bad day? How do we communicate that? Well, it could be as simple as, hey, I know you were having a bad day today. I would love to be there for you, but I am at my limits with XYZ and I need some recharging as well. What if, now suggest something, maybe it's a time sensitive thing, like what if we order in and watch some movies tonight? Do something super low key. That could work. Or what if we were to catch back up on Tuesday and have a night in, a later date? So it's as easy as that. And I think we really need to focus on being clear and kind and specific, okay? Because clarity is one of the kindest things we can give to one another. It tells us how to interact with each other and what to expect. Oh, the infinite things we have learned from Elmo in just a single tweet. Actually, I think his second tweet was, I'm glad everyone responded. Such a nice thing to say. He said, no, his second tweet said, I'm glad Elmo checked in. Oh, what a sweetheart. That's like saying, I'm glad I showed up for you today. Who does that? We should all do more of that. I had fun making this video. I would love to know what you said to Elmo. Yeah. But that's all I got for today, so I'll catch you next time.